stupid like that every quarter. So there's issues at the sea level that are not really that resolved yet. But to them, the Bakken is a core area for harvesting cash flow to try and take care of some of their other offshoots in their portfolio. I don't see them ramping up capital there because they got to conserve capital for other areas, but they're not going to pare it down either because it is giving them a very nice chunk of their free cash flow. Next one, which is they have been really hard to dig out the data publicly, but ConocoPhillips. They've got a very diverse global portfolio. First of all, the Bakken is among their holdings in other places like the Eagle Ford, for example, and in the Permian. But I think it's a pretty decent position, but I can't tell you the acres exactly because it's a number that they haven't published recently. And if telling you a number from investor presentation 3 years ago doesn't do much good because who knows what has changed since then. But it's to them it is a cash flow area for them as well, the harvest type of cash flow for redeployment in some of their growth areas. I think they're sustaining. Again, their goal there is to sustain their production. If you look at their investor stuff, they tout how they've been at 70,000 barrels a day for the last 4 years. So it seems like they are willing to maintain a rate, not really grow it, but they also don't want to cut off spending and have that drop that production. But it is one of if you look at their portfolio, the Bakken is one of about 7, if you will, core areas. So it's a piece of the pie. It's certainly not the total pie. ExxonMobil actually has a very big position there, but of course being the global company that they are and portfolio-wise and having, number one, ExxonMobil is the operator of the Guyana, so they also, for example, down there have cash calls on that. So I also look at them, and you can, of course, ExxonMobil is, you see it on the state forms and whatnot, is XTO, which was the company they bought years ago. But anyway, to me it looks, again, kind of like a situation like Conoco, in the sense that it's a harvest situation, steady state, not a growth mode, but certainly not a cut off funding and let it decline mode either.
Got it.
Marathon. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Just going to run a couple more unless you want to stop.
Yeah, maybe one or two more would be helpful to kind of round out the picture.
Okay, Marathon is an interesting one because the Bakken is one of their 3 core areas, which is also the Eagle Ford, Permian, and the Bakken. They have pruned back over the last 3 years. They went through a transformation of the company from having a far-flung portfolio to really focus down on these 3. So it's one of their 3 cores. It certainly gets their attention, but equally so, honestly, they're putting money in a almost a little bit higher ratio in the Permian and the Eagle Ford above the Bakken. They have ramped up the rigs there though this year. I think it's to ramp up free cash flow for redeployment. They like the differentials they're getting there. I expect them to kind of in the second half of the year to cut back on the Permian, which could redirect capital up to the Bakken, for example. So it's again, one of 3. It's important to them, and I think they're rethinking their initial 2018 strategy, and I would expect to see them increase things towards the end of the year here in the Bakken. EOG, it is a 330,000 acre position. About 120,000 of it is Tier 1. They've got about 5 core areas. This is one of them. So it's not a peripheral. It is definitely a core. They're very strong, obviously, in the Eagle Ford. You probably knew that. And in the Permian. They've got a good position, ironically, in the Green River Basin with some rock over there that they're trying to figure out,